Welcome back, Double Leg Premium members. It's time for the exclusive show where we go through all of our bets. This one's going to be for UFC Vegas 77, headlined by Holly Holm and Myra Bueno Silva. Without any further ado, we don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get into it with the main event. What do you got?
Main event, man. What a banger. I got to stick with Holly Holm. And I see a lot of people on Bueno Silva this week, and I understand, she can be a savage in the first couple of rounds. She's tough. She hits hard. Not a bad fighter at all. But we're talking about Holly Holm here, who should be 4-0 in her last four fights. I thought she beat Ketlin Vieira. She's fighting the way better competition. I mean, technically, she's one of the most technical fighters in that division in all of women's MMA. She knows how to win fights. If you're good at one thing, she's great at taking that away from your game and not letting you use it or use it well. And plus, man, I mean, what happens when we get into the third round and Holly Holm's been landing that body kick? She's been doing good work and tiring out Bueno Silva. Like, I could see Bueno Silva fading. I could see Holly Holm being there all 5 rounds. So even though she's 41, I didn't see any signs of her slowing down her last fight. I mean, she completely dominated her last fight. I just don't see the poll on Bueno Silva. I mean, I know she's the underdog. I still don't think, I don't know. I still don't think she gets it done against Holly. I had to stick with Holly, try to win a unit on this one.
Yeah, I was leaning dog or pass just because it's women's MMA and Holly Holm's 41 years old. But eventually, I thought Holly Holm probably should have been a little bit bigger of a favorite. So I played her in a parlay with Melquizael Costa at plus 127 for a unit, just because I think Holly Holm should win this fight. If she doesn't, that means she probably got subbed. I don't think she's going to. I think Holly would probably outpoint her if it's on the feet and if she stays safe on the ground. Bueno Silva likes to play in the guard a lot, and she's pretty content to be on her back. So Holly Holm will be on top control. So, yeah, that's all I got in the main event. I didn't want to get too invested women's MMA
Right.
5-round fight. So, yeah, I just threw in a parlay. Co-main event: Jack Della, Madalena Basil Hafez. What do you got in this one, if anything?
Man, I laid off completely. I was leaning, round one finish for Jack because it was even money on Bet US, and then round two's plus 300. But at the end of the day, like I don't like risking like a unit or a unit and a half on round props at all in any fight. And I just didn't feel like it was worth it to even throw a half unit, quarter unit on those odds. I didn't think they were juicy enough. So I laid off completely, just going to enjoy, see if the UFC debuter can give Jack a little bit of a fight.
Yeah, I ended up just sprinkling a little tad on Hafez inside the distance because of all the concerns surrounding what Jack Della has had to go through over the past week. And 2 weight cuts. This is his third opponent. Probably didn't have a lot of time to game plan at all. And sometimes that could be a letdown spot. And we're taking, it's plus 550 for a quarter of a unit. So we're not taking too big of a risk here. But, if we do get the upset, I do think it probably happens inside the distance. Some kind of club and sub, or maybe just catches him with something on the feet, or could take him down and find a sub there. He's a solid BJJ black belt. So I didn't think there was any value on Jack Della. Just like you said, the round props is like, okay, if he survives a round, then you're losing a minus or an even money round one finish. Like, that's pretty tough. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to lose their butts on a Jack Della round one finish tomorrow because I think Hafez can survive a round. I really do. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Hafez inside the distance. The third fight on the card, or third to last fight on the card, Ottoman Azatar and Francisco Prado. I believe you got Prado in this one. Is that correct?
I do, and for a couple of reasons, man. He's a lot younger. I think he's going to be faster, and I just feel like Azaitar's got to rely on that power, and if he doesn't find it, I could see him getting tired. And he's coming off of a pretty big knockout against Frivola not that long ago, like less than a year ago, and he got knocked. I mean, cold. So, yeah, I think Prado hits hard. I think he's going to have more of a grappling edge if it does go there. I just see him being in better shape too as the fight goes on. I think the cardio is going to be really good. Didn't look the best against Malarkey when Malarkey was out there just spamming takedowns and getting him down. So I don't think he's going to have that problem with the Zaitar. Therefore, I think he's going to be able to fight his game a little bit more here. He just can't get knocked out, and I think he wins the fight.
Yeah, I went just small plays on a Zaitar round 1 KO at plus 320 for a quarter of a unit, and round 2 KO at plus 850 for 0.15 units. So only zero point 0.4 units in total in play there. But kind of just what you said, he's dangerous in the first round or two. And getting knocked out by Frivola, I don't think it's the worst thing because he knocked out Drew Dober, who's got that granite chin.
Yeah.
And Zaitar, he's got big power in the hands. If Prado comes out aggressive like we know him to be on the regional scene, could turn into a brawl early. And I like Azaitar's chances there. So that's all I got in that one. Next fight, we got Abduraev Junyoung Park. What do you got on that one?
Oh, I took Albert Duraev as the dog. I think Park's good everywhere. His boxing's good. He's technical, good volume. And in the grappling department, he's good as well. He finds submissions against lower level guys, but Duraev, I think, is going to be more aggressive. He comes forward. I mean, what he did against Cheaty in his last fight was pretty impressive. Like that's a big dude to take down, and a lot of people didn't give him a chance in that fight and thought he was going to get knocked out. I don't think Duraev gets knocked out by Park. I don't think he gets submitted by Park, and I think he's going to land the bigger shots on the feet. And as a dog, just give me a guy like that who can get the takedowns of his own, has good top pressure, and hits probably a little bit harder. So it should be a really close fight. But plus 135, I bet on Duraev the last fight. I'm going to do it again here, just for 3/4 of a unit. Nothing big. It's actually my smallest play on the money line this week.
I'm on the opposite side, so if you're watching this, you're gonna have to choose who you want to. But I'm going with Junyoung Park on the money line, minus 145 for 1.5 units. So to get a unit back there, my initial thought was along the lines of yours to be like, Duraev at plus money is not a bad thing. Junyoung Park hasn't been beating like the best competition, but I think he has a very good, well-rounded game. And the only guy that's been able to really take him down and somewhat hold him down was Anthony Hernandez. And that was what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And since then he's improved his grappling a lot. And even in that fight, he got submitted in the second round and he landed 81 significant strikes. And I don't see Albert Duraev like pulling off some kind of submission. I haven't been super impressed with Duraev as far as what he does when he has people on the ground. Like the control and the ground and pound isn't like completely there. What he did to Cheaty, he got him down. He didn't do much. And a lot of the fight, they just kind of stood and like stared at each other. So in this one, I think Junyoung Park's going to be more active. I think he can handle the wrestling. And I'm going to take him on the money line there. I think it's worth a shot.
I do think it's going to be a boring fight.
I do too. I think
I see it being boring.
I also forgot about that. I also got the over 2.5 in that one at minus 130 for 1.3 units because, as you said, I think it's gonna be a boring fight. So I don't think either guy has big power on the feet.
Yeah.
Both guys have a good submission defense, and neither guy threatens too much on the ground with the submissions. Jungyong Park back-to-back subs, I think that's probably factored into this price a little bit. So I think you're getting a little bit better value at minus 130 for the over 2.5 there. I believe that's all I got in that one. The women's fight, Norma Dumont, Chelsea Chandler. This is a dog that I'm on this week. I got Chelsea Chandler. They were beefing at the weigh-ins this morning. And I think Chelsea Chandler is just going to have more output on the feet. I think she could get taken down by Norma Dumont, but I think she'll be able to scramble back to her feet, maybe reverse position. Just the activity that I really liked when I saw her fight. I think she's worth a shot as the dog. Women's MMA, taking a dog's never the worst spot. Plus 135. Yeah, plus 135 for a unit. I'm all over it. What do you got?
It's the biggest beef in women's MMA since Ronda and Misha Tate. No, I laid off on this one. I was really close to being on Chelsea Chandler's side as well, but I just haven't seen enough out of her at this level. Like Norma Dumont is, should be the better striker, but I just couldn't pick a side here. I think it's dog or pass, so I think you're on the right side as far as the bets go for sure.
Terrence McKinney, Nazim Sadikov. The free play of the week is going to be Sadikov money line. And we're both on the Sadikov side because once again, we're seeing a ton of the money on Terrence McKinney. You called it last time when McKinney fought Bonfim. Ton of the money, I believe 88% was on McKinney. Now it's looking like, 82%, somewhere around there. And Nazim Sadikov, I just don't see where he loses this fight. It seems like he's been fairly durable. He did get knocked down in his last fight in the first round by Evan Elder, but he was able to survive and get the win by a doctor stoppage. And this one, Terrence McKinney, he's good for a round, basically, if he fights that way. Like, he's good for a round.
Yeah.
At that point, you just got to survive for a round. I think Nazim can survive that. If he doesn't fight that way, then that's not going to go well for Terrence McKinney. He's just going to sit at range and take shots. And he's not super durable. So he's been finished all 5 of his losses. This one screams violence. I think Nazim gets a finish. So I took him inside the distance at plus 105 for 0.6 units. And then I got round 1 KO plus 350 for 0.2 units, or round 2 KO at plus 600 for 0.2 units. So a unit in total invested in Nazim Sadikov for me. What do you got?
Yep, I'm on Sadikov minus 150, 1.5 units to win 1 unit. And same things you just said. I mean, Terrence McKinney's got 1 round. At least that's what he's shown. And I think if he doesn't fight that way and he comes and takes a more measured approach, I think he loses the first round. So then you're down, 1-0 in a 3-round fight. So, either way, I think this screams Sadikov here. And, McKinney, he's been knocked out a lot, and he gets knocked out. And when he goes down hard. So Sajikov's a really good boxer. He's got really good hands. I think the takedown defense will be there. Trains at a phenomenal camp for this style of fighter in McKinney. So, I think he gets it done.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if McKinney goes out there and knocks him out or submits him, it's like, all right, tip your cap and move on. But I also got lower than 28.5 significant strikes on Sajikov. Put that out on my page for the free play on Underdog. I just think if he hits McKinney that many times, McKinney's not going to last. And McKinney could come out and try to implement the wrestling, could have some success if he goes and takes the back or something like that, and Nazim can't get any strikes off. But, yeah, it's at under or lower than 28.5 for the Underdog play there. Moving on, Tucker Lutz, Melsik Bagdasarian. What do you got on that one?
Yeah, I like Tucker Lutz on the money line at plus 140 for 1 unit. And basically, I mean, Melsik should be the better striker on the feet. I mean, we've seen him have some really good exchanges. I think he was winning that fight against Kulabao, but he wasn't dominating it on the feet by any means. Like, he was still getting hit too. He wasn't, hurting and dropping him over and over. I mean, he didn't look lights out on the feet like people say that he is. And, the UFC is another level than what he used to get all of his knockouts in. And Tucker Lutz, he just lost to Daniel Pineda, but the dude can grapple and wrestle. And he's super strong too. And we saw what happened when Melsik slipped one time against Josh Kulabao. He got submitted in like 10 seconds. So if Tucker Lutz comes in with a good game plan, tires out Melsik, take the pop out of his shots, I think he just grinds this thing down into a win. And at plus money, I like the wrestler here. And I also took Melsik by KO plus 250 as a little hedge bet. But if Tucker Lutz wins, we're going to win over a unit.
Yeah, I went Tucker Lutz as well. I got it earlier in the week, though. I got him at plus 175.
Yeah, that's a way better line.
Yeah, for 0.6 units. I was looking at it earlier in the week. Melsik was like a minus 210 favorite, like pretty high. And I was like, really? Like, Tucker Lutz was a pretty big favorite against Pineda. And he just got caught basically in that guillotine. And Tucker Lutz, strong dude. He can implement his grappling. If he does have that game plan, I think that would be the smartest way to go about it. You don't want to stand at kicking range with Melsik. But at the same time, Melsik, a good kickboxer, But his 2 wins in the UFC, I just can't get behind that much. Like Colin Anglin and Bruno Souza, it's like, all
Yeah.
right, at that point, it's like, okay. And then looked good with Kulabau until he didn't. It's like, well, if you make mistakes in MMA, like they're gonna come back to haunt you. So I thought the plus money at plus 175, Tucker Lutz was too good to pass up. That's what filled on BetOpenly, so that's why it's only 0.6 units for me. I'm content with it, and we'll move on from there. But yeah, that's all I got on that. Estela Nunez, Victoria Dudikova. What do you got on that one?
Oh yeah, I got Estela Nunez KO round 1 plus 1600 for 0.15 units, and her by KO in round 2 for plus 2100 at plus 0.10 units. So, dude, she's really dangerous in the first couple rounds on the feet. I know Dudikova is going to want to wrestle, but I haven't been impressed with her. Watching the tape and the regional scene, Stella Nunez hasn't won in the UFC. I don't believe. I'm looking. I don't think she's won in the UFC, but I mean, dude, she's a savage with her hands when she gets them going. So I could see her, giving Dudikova a little nice welcome to the UFC gift. We've seen this story time and time again when the UFC debuter is a minus 200 or minus 300 favorite and they go in and shit the bed. So I could see it happening here again.
Yeah, we called the Muay Thai champion Luana Carolina to get the upset win a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Estela Nunez, Muay Thai champion. She's going to get the upset again this week. I got her at plus 190 for half a unit on the money line. And then I also got her at plus 230 for by KO or decision for a half unit plus 230. So I think she gets it done. I can't buy into that price at all on Dudikova.
Mm-hmm.
Like the regional fights, not good. I know she got the upset win in her Dana White Contender Series fight, but she just kind of laid and prayed. Yeah, you can factor in the leg injury, which who knows how she's going to look in her first fight back from that too. So I got to go with the experience here. Better damage as far as like how the striking looks on the feet, and Dudikova doesn't do a lot of damage when she gets you on the ground. So I like Nunez in this one. Keep it moving. Austin Lingo and Melquizael Costa. What do you got on that one?
I laid off on this one. I couldn't find anything that I really liked because, Costa, I think, wins the fight. I think he, could get the finish, but I knew if I played that KO submission prop, I knew he'd get the decision and vice versa. So I just laid off. I didn't have a good feeling about it. So I couldn't get a great read, at least enough for me to pull the trigger on a bet. So I laid off of it.
I took Melk Costa inside the distance, plus 175 for a half a unit. He's finished, I believe, 5 of his last 7 wins. So, I mean, he's a pretty aggressive dude on the feet and on the ground. If he gets him to the ground, I think he throws in a submission or he could knock him out on the feet. Lingo's going to be very boxing heavy. I think he's an easy guy to game plan for. Costa should come in here with some violence, and I like him to get it done inside the distance. They're at plus 175 for a half unit. Also got him in a parlay that I mentioned earlier with Holly Holm, plus 127 for a unit there. And that's all I got on that one. Guinara Valdez, Evan Elder. You got anything on this one?
I took Evan Elder by KO, just a slight play, plus 130 for a quarter of a unit, just to win a little bit here. I think his hands are pretty damn slick, and I think Valdez comes in a little bit wild and with the chin up at times, and I think Evan Elder could capitalize. He's training Killcliff, some killers in there. He's going to be ready. Looked good in his last fight, until he lost, but I think he was beating Nazim 2-0 going into that third, I believe. So he's definitely a good fighter. I think he'll be better than Valdez, and I think he can get the finish.
Yeah, I like Evan Elder. I couldn't really get behind the price just because Valdez kind of fights like a crazy man and he could pull something off. But I did see some value on the higher than a half finishes on Evan Elder for the underdog play, because if you look at that on like a book, it's like minus 145. So for him to, get it done inside the distance, that's basically what this is saying. So I got higher than a half finish for Evan Elder paired with plus 4.5 significant strikes for Chelsea Chandler in the rivals section there. 3x for a unit. That's just a 2-legger on underdog. That's the second play there listed. I think Chelsea Chandler's got the volume on the feet as well, as I talked about earlier. But that's the only thing I got on that fight. Just looking for a finish from Evan Elder. Tyson Nam as that Maxim. Got anything on this one?
Yeah, I could not ignore the Tyson Nam KO prop that was at plus 750. I mean, the dude's got a dangerous, dangerous right hand. We're talking about a UFC debuter. We've seen, some debuters struggle at times with the UFC level competition. Nam's a veteran. He's knocked out dudes like Ode Osborne just less than a year ago. If he lands that right hand, it could be devastating. So, yeah, I had the sprinkle on it. 0.15 units at plus 750. And if we lose 0.15 units, it's no big deal. But if we get that Nam KO, it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I got some violence in this one too. I got the under 2.5 rounds at minus 145 for 1.45 units. Flyweight unders have been pretty good to me this year. And if we're looking at this one, like you said, Nam's got the big knockout power, but he's also 39 and he got finished in his last time out. Maxim has got a lot of finishes under his record. I think, these guys should be throwing some hands. If Maxim does take him to the ground, he could find a sub, but Nam's got that good takedown defense. So I think they're going to end up slugging it out on the feet. I think somebody's going to go down. And let's hope it's Tyson Nam so we can cash that prop for you.
Yeah.
But that's all I got on that one. Carl Deaton, Alex Munoz. Probably the most disgusting lightweight fight you'll ever see. But I got Munoz in a parlay with Eileen Perez at plus 153 for 0.8 units. That I got that pretty early in the week. So I don't think you get that price, but I like both of those people, or both those fighters to win.
Yeah.
I think Munoz should be able to get the win. I don't think too highly of Carl Deaton. He's not dangerous anywhere the fight really goes. Munoz training at a good camp. I think he's worth a parlay piece. I wouldn't lay the heavy chalk on him straight up, though. What are you thinking?
Yep, I got nothing on this one. Just didn't like the line. Just couldn't get a good beat on guys at this lower level. So, yeah, nothing from me.
All right, that takes us to the first fight of the night, the curtain jerker, an absolute banger. I just talked about Perez being in the parlay with Munoz, but the only thing else I got on this one is the final leg of the underdog play. So I told you earlier, lower than 28.5 significant strikes for Nazim Sadykhov, paired with higher than 1.5 takedowns for Eileen Perez. That's what she goes to in her fights. She goes for the takedowns. She's been training at MMA Masters, which is, the likes of Colby Covington, Temba Garimbo, two guys that have showed their grappling a lot in their fights. And I think she should be able to come in here and get the takedowns against Ashley Evans Smith, who has been out for a while, and Eileen Perez, a little bit shorter, should be able to get in on those doubles and singles and get her to the ground. So just need two. This fight's favored to go the distance. So within 3 rounds, she can just get a takedown in 2 of those 3 rounds. I like our chances. So I got to take that 3x for a unit there. That's all I got. What do you got?
Yep, I've got Eileen Perez and Holly Holm in a parlay. And that's, same reasons you listed off for Perez. I think she's going to be more aggressive. I think she's the better fighter. Ashley Evans Smith coming off the steroid suspension, been out a while. I don't see her getting the win here. I don't think she's that good of a fighter. And I think Perez has something to prove after her first loss. And I think she gets it done. So that parlay, Holly Holm and Perez, plus 128 for half unit.
I like it. We got a 6 p.m. start here in the Central Time. So got some time before the fights tomorrow. 13 in total. We lost the Walt Harris Marcin Tybura fight, which is just atrocious, man. It's a real sad one to lose, but yeah, hopefully we can cash in. We got 4 women's MMA fights on the card, so don't get too exposed on those fights. You never know too much, but yeah, good luck to everyone. If you're tailing, good luck if you're watching this before. Hopefully we can give you some good insight moving forward. If you're watching this after, hopefully we hit some tickets and can take them to the counter and cash them out. But we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for the support, Double Leg Premium members. Till next time, the Double Leg signing out.